Tell me about that.
That tell you about how I make art. I've been making art for, well, I don't know if this is really telling you about it, but I have been for 35 years. I've been an artist, and I was many things before I became an artist, so I'm older than you think. But art is, it isn't all as rosy as it seems. You know, after 35 years, you know, there's quite a few tales to tell, and staying at it requires you to make sacrifices along the road to do with compromising your artistic, you know, like dreams and visions occasionally, but then you lose your inspiration and you get back on the horse, and it's mostly, which I'm going to be talking about tonight, mostly it feels like a journey of trying to find a way to keep in good with the muse, you know, like still looking for God all the time. I think a particular type of personality, artists are all as varied as there are personalities. So you'll get, you know, someone who's quiet and reserved, who likes to work from, you know, inner feelings and expressions, and you'll get someone, I'm quite rowdy and entrepreneurial, and I draw my sources from all sorts of places. That's what inspires me, and I'm never satisfied, and I can't rest, and I'm never going to be able to retire, because that's a lot. So personalities in art are just as important as they are in any occupation. Not all artists they're all different. So yeah.
So you mentioned those kind of dips in inspiration.
Yeah.
And maintaining your muse. Do you have any advice for people about how they might do that? How they might stay excited about their art?
How they keep in good with the muse? Oh, it's a secret.
You're not going to give that one away for free?
No, I can tell. Look, the key, I think, is you're a human being. So the key is, if you want to be in an occupation for a long time, such, you know, a creative occupation, is that you just need to be a human through the whole process. And that means you're going to be, you know, failing at things, you're going to be vulnerable, and I think the best thing is to find out who you are. Like, know, you know, the old saying, know thyself, because if you can work out who you are, then you actually can become a stronger and more distinctive artist, because you actually become more confident about what you are, what you represent, and less, I mean, you know, like, I'm looking for something new every day, but that's who I am as a personality. And somehow or another that search for meaning comes through in my work. But I've done so much personal work, you know, as in, I'll be discussing tonight at the opening, my search for meaning took me to do a master's in Jungian psychology, or depth psychology, and dream analysis, and through that process I found a way of joining up the inner world of dreams and visions and things, which is sort of, you know, everyone has that, but how much you communicate with it and what you can do with that information in a pragmatic way depends on your relationship with yourself and how you can bring that information out to the world. And basically the fruit, or the muse is that relationship, how good a relationship you can have. And I really don't think the muse is just this thing on the inside. If you want to be a part of a society and a community, you've got to be able to reach out and attract people to your work. You know, I'm a storyteller with my art. There's no point just, you know, hanging a wall of tampons or something just to shock people. It's like boring as bat crap. So, you know, you've got to think about what it is, what your worth is in a society. I really believe that.
And for you, is that about storytelling and sort of crafting a narrative?
Yeah, I was born as a storyteller. So as I got to know who I was through my life journey, I actually discovered that that's who I am. When I was a little girl, I was a story maker. I don't like playing in games, but I used to create the stories, and that's gone on, and it's continuing today. And I really do believe that it's getting stronger.
And can you tell me about the story that you're telling, or the stories that you're telling in the exhibition tonight?
Well, it's called Life Contents, and for want of a better title, I suppose, I've focused around the paintings are very much a celebration of nature, and there's a lot of animals. There's not a really heavy-duty theme deliberately. It's actually a celebration of life and animals, and that sounds very benign. But wait till my next exhibition comes; it won't be so benign. But it's also it's to do with what we've all been through in the last year and a half, and it's a response. It's a protest against a kind of an anti-nature thing that's going on. So you have to think about what you think about that. I won't state it.
Well, I do have the good fortune of having read your blurb on the website.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, not blurb, artist statement.
Oh, you.
And it was about a loss of connection
Nature.
Yeah, connection with reality as it is on the ground, or with nature and with people in front of us.
Yep. Look, this is the simple thing. If you, like I said, I go in deep inside myself through the study of my dreams, and I go to the absolute outer limit, which is globalism, right? I study global politics. So I'm onto it all. I'm the best conspiracy person ever. So when you join those things up, and when I do this opening tonight, I'm going to be sharing something about that. But when you join up those contents, what you start to learn is that the truths are, all the innate truths about nature are all happening inside us, just right down inside, deeply, and they're expressing themselves all the time through dreams, and then through our actions and our desires to touch our friends, our lovers, our wives, our husbands, to cuddle our babies, to kiss, like I said, kiss dogs. All of that is good and natural. When you take authority out and put it into a really great big global blob, and then you try and enforce that, and even the thoughts that social media is the same thing. When you try and enforce that across a village, it's completely stupid, because you can't hold anybody. No one's held accountable. I've got to throw this in. Just what could possibly go wrong with drug companies having no liability for the drugs they create? What could possibly go wrong? So just ask yourself that question, and there you have it. Global drug companies, no liability for the drugs they're creating. Human guinea pigs for what? So my view is F them all. Trust your body, listen to your body, because nature's given us the capacity to heal and fix, and turn the bloody internet off. And go for a walk with your dog and do the things you need to do to be a human. And I guess I put that into my work through, I've had a lot of funny life experiences, and it's a celebration of life. Like there's a painting there which I've just brought in, so no one's seen it yet, and it's a picture of a outback man with his big tall black hat running away from a bull, and he's got a red shirt on, and the title is "She Told Him Not to Wear That Shirt." I mean, that is just so simple, but that kind of humour, if you like, I don't try to do it, it's just what it is the stuff of life. It's beautiful, it's on the ground, it's right here and now. So yeah, stuff Fauci and all those other wankers on the TV, it's all just manipulation. That's my view. Controversial as it may be, it shouldn't be.
It seems like getting in touch with the subconscious and your dreams is kind of part of what you do. Can you tell me about that? How you sort of find that place?
Oh, just go to sleep. No, you've got
when you're awake, but it's a tricky thing. I have great ideas when I'm falling asleep.
Yes.
I rarely put pen to paper.
I will give you the tip. See, what I did is I got very serious because I'm a bit of an obsessive compulsive person. So when I take something up, I really go for it. And so when I did the master's degree in Jungian psychology or depth psychology, I just thought I'm going to be a Jungian analyst. So I started the precursor training for it, which is actually 2 years. You've got for 2 years, it's a certain number of hours, 400 hours. Like you're basically on the couch with a Jungian analyst, and every night you actually are recording your dreams. And I used to tape recorder, didn't get much sleep through that 2 years, or a notepad. But basically, halfway, you wake up at midnight, just the elephant jumped on top of and you just basically, all the nonsense, you capture it. But what the difference is because we've all had really wacky dreams, but you capture it, and then this is the secret. You interact and you treat that. Carl Jung used to call dreams the royal road. So you capture that information as it's coming out, and then you write it down, and then when you share it and interact, say for example I would with the analyst, we talk it through, and then you overlay that with the study of ancient texts, which is part of the whole process. You find incredible symbols, and not every dream, because there's big dreams and little dreams, but symbols and patterns that have been going on since the beginning of time, and it's all recorded in history. And then you can start to understand the metaphor, how to read metaphor. And when you do that, you start to feel that there's this feeling that you're not alone, that you've got this ancient thing going on inside you that's constantly telling you the story. But it doesn't give it to you literally, it gives it to you in a metaphor. It's like a puzzle. And the secret is to interact with it. So when I have a really significant dream, and I kind of always know, and I'll ring up my friend, or I'll ring up my son, or I'll get on my typewriter, and I go, this happened, and I'm actually going to read one of the dreams tonight to give an example. And you're putting energy into that. And when you do that, it's strange how, as the words are coming out of your mouth, if you just tell it as it came, this whole new world comes out and you see the meaning. It's incredible. So the secret there that I'm describing is you're using this inner unconscious, you're combining it with ancient external knowledge, right? So that's the outer world, the ancient texts, Bibles, anything. I'm not a religious person, but all of those texts have everything in it. And then what you do is the union, the sex, if you like, the union of these two things is your Hermes interaction. It's where you interact with it. Hermes is the god that lives between, he talks to the upper world and the underworld. He's like, Mercury in Italy. So you've got Hermes, the guy, that god with the little wings on his ankles, and he was in charge of going up and down. So that's actually what you have to become. You have to become the person that interacts with it, and then you get something out of it that you can actually use.
That's the tricky bit.
Well, once you get it, you can see what you can do with it.
Yeah, by the looks of the amount of work you've put out in this exhibition, you're very in touch with that.
Oh, yeah, I have my days though, like everybody. But yeah, and I do have my days.
Everybody does.
Yeah, when the worst moments for me is when I start taking myself too seriously. As soon as I let that go, and I had a stage when I was painting where I was so stuck and I was repulsed by my creativity, it was not there. And then I realised that I was trying to make sense of the painting. I was painting, it was a watercolour over there, and it was like animals, and I thought the Southwest, that animal's not in the Southwest. Why, that doesn't make sense. And it was awful. And then I just broke it and I painted a cow with zebra stripes. And it just changed everything. It was like, it's like that you interact with the unconscious, so or the irrational, I should say. So you change change it from just logic and what is sensible and logical, and you add in that little bit of spice, which is the wacky part. I call it wacky, you have a more sophisticated term for it, but it actually then disrupts it, and that makes all the difference.
It's an amazing thing to be able to laugh at yourself.
Oh, I think if you don't, that's probably why there's a plague of antidepressant drugs going on, because people take themselves far too seriously. And then, it's, doctors and psychiatrists, I think they're the ones that really give the drugs out, and then they take it too seriously. So everybody takes it far too seriously. You just go down the road, talk to old Mrs. Marple, she'll give you a cup of tea, clip over the ear, and tell you to cut the crap, and you'll be fine. It's usually like that. Or hug your dog, get a big lick on your face, all done, fixed. Seriously, yeah.
That's wonderful advice. Thank you so much for your time.
That's my pleasure. Thank you for the lovely interview.